Miers ir tad, kad tu vari darīt savu iemīļoto darbu, ka tev nav jālāp pasaule un ka tu esi drošs par savu ģimeni, par saviem bērniem, par viņu nākotni. Jā, miers ir tad, kad tu esi pārliecināts, ka pēc gada, 2, 3 tu varēsi nodarboties tieši ar to pašu un tev nebūs jāiet karot kaut kādā karlaukā, vai tas būtu nevardarbīgās cīņas karlauks, vai arī tas būtu pilnīgi īstas militārs darbības karlauks. Un man liekas, ka svarīgākais nav tas, cik varbūt kurā pusē ir tāda, kas domā pilnīgi dažādi un nevar atrast ar vienu kopsaucēju. Manuprāt, ir svarīgi, cik daudz, kaut arī būtu mazākums, un cik morāli, ētiski, intelektuāli pārliecināti ir tie cilvēki, kuri saprot, ka mums visiem ir jābūt kopā un ka mums ir viena tagadne un viena nākotne.
Somehow I will think more about things that I haven't think before. When I read about this training, I was curious to find out how it will work, how it relates to peace. I'm really satisfied that I participate. I like that training was not boring. We were not only sitting and in one place, I mean in one room. We were also changing our locations. For example, from the beach we were going to the, outside and then in some room and so on. So I like this dynamic. We should have our inner peace. We will be in harmony with our thoughts. It means we should not doubt all the time that we are doing is wrong. If you are doing something, you really should believe in yourself, and then you will have this peace. And after that, you can speak about peace in society, and that means that you are safe. When you go out from the home, you are not afraid that somebody will attack you. And in global understanding, maybe it's a place where we do not have problems with borders, with crossing countries. We have intercultural understanding and respect to one another. Here I had the opportunity to implement the theory maybe that I had a little bit. I saw that it's not only about peace building in a global way, but we should really start from our family, from our friends, from university mates. And okay, we cannot change politics, that's true, but we can change the people around us. I just proved into myself what makes me peaceful more. How can I calm down? What are my ways to do it? Now I am more certain about it. I think that we need to break a lot of stereotypes and try to see with our eyes something and then have opinion and not judge, just that we heard something about from media or internet or so on. I participated in many trainings, but none of them were so dynamic. Here, I really liked this tandem of personal developing and this group was together, group was united.
Well, the peace is a really important question in our country because our country is like in constant conflicts that they're still in the air. When we first met, we didn't know much about other countries and we were so close. But after, when we went through the training, when we began to pay attention about each other's feelings and needs, then the discussions were more positive and more warmer. So it is a really new kind of thinking, a new kind of communication. I believe that is the best from the point of view in my role of society. This is the most valuable thing that I will bring to Serbia. The atmosphere here was very positive and very optimistic, and those positive ways were all concentrated to each other. So I believe that's the kind of spirit that we can transport to our countries and to try to develop it in all different ways. I remember when I was a kid that one day my father told me that this is not anymore my country. I asked him what was wrong in Yugoslavia and he couldn't explain to me. I didn't know in my childhood the years in peace. I didn't know what is it. I lived in conflict. That was natural to me. They bombarded my city, my building, and there were many victims around. And that is the time when I tried to think a lot of the situation. Why is this happening? What did I do to deserve this? When I started to grow up, I realized when all those conflicts were over, I kind of try to put those conflicts in the past, to think that that's over so I can get on with my life. The wars in Yugoslavia and in Serbia left big trauma to the people, and they should really do something to avoid conflicts in the future. I wish to Serbia to start to talk to other countries that were in war with, because there are some things that are not resolved from the past and that threaten to the peace in the future. I realized that if we want to make a peace with everybody else, then we should try our inner peace. So when I come back to my country, and I will look for the people we were in conflict with, and I will try to talk to them in a new way, the way that we didn't talk to earlier. I was trying to find a peace with myself. That is a very valuable thing, because I believe that we can find a peace with everybody else if we don't find peace in ourselves.
Peace is something that needs to be reached in my society, among my friends, generally in my nation, because this is the only way to get rid of the conflicts and to live peacefully together. I'm sure that after digesting all the information that I get here, I will come up with ideas that will sometime turn into projects, and if I find like-minded people, they join me, we can together implement a project that will certainly have its effect, at least among young people. I'm really surprised about the whole method of the training, and because I participated before this at many trainings, this is really an innovative approach for me to come to the topic of peace through, first of all, creating and building peace inside you. Yeah, I would like to thank all the organizers of the training program, and also to express my gratitude for the whole content of the program, because I was quite impressed about the method through which we developed the topic of peace inside us, and I highly appreciate all the efforts that were put in the training, and I really feel balanced and harmonious. Never give up. Actually, this is a phrase that works out for many situations. In case of conflict, this is the same. Even if I meet a conflict and I see that the conflict cannot be resolved, I will never give up, because I always believe that there is always a way out of the situation. Don't be egoistic. Try, or sometimes even force yourself to get into the shoes of the other person. Get yourself into the role of the other person, because only after that you can analyze the situation and you can find the answer for the question you have, the answer for the problem you have. Break the stereotypes in your minds, think out of the box, try to analyze the situation, and be more empathic.
In these days where the world is totally globalized, we cannot speak about peace in my town or in my region. In terms of what I experienced before, I had another training course. It was not that serious like this one. I think that we really work deep and we could experience like meditation activities that, for example, in my case, I never had. We are very lucky to came to this training course, because it's really the way that things should be done. No?
I did many training courses like this. I was thinking that will be the typical training course. I mean, with a lot of workshops, with during the nights a lot of parties. I think it's a new experience and good. You can to reflect about this when you come back to your country.
I learned to be more patient with the others. You have to be very open, and of course you have to be very patient with many behaviors. It's the way to understand that not everybody is the same, and not everybody we have the same values. Reflection about that is one of the things that we learn in this training course. We learn because through some examples, we learn like the tools, different methods and the techniques we learn something very useful about conflicts. You have to do to the others that you want to receive. I mean, your behavior with the other people should be the same that you really want to have from the others. No? Peace, of course, is something possible in the world. Of course, violence is not a part of human nature. I mean, it's not inside of human nature. So, of course, it's something conceptual.
In our country, we have a proverb that is dos no es barallen si no volen. It means that two persons or two countries or two don't fight if they don't want to fight. It's the Holy Bible.
I have two more brothers, and of course I had to learn how to live in peace with them. In peace, I mean not fighting and discussing every time about everything. It's more about to feel it, to understand. The peace is something that grows up in you. So the best way to teach somebody is through the good example, no? Having your peace inside of you, no? Make peace at home.
It's complicated, but I think the most important thing is the education. In your life, you had a good education in the school, with your family, also with your friends. This kind of education, non-formal education and informal education, these three kinds of education are important.
One of the problems of the world is that not everybody in every country has that peaceful, no? To learn from history
And respect each other is important.
yeah, to respect each other. So sometimes you have to fight for that you want, but as Mahatma Gandhi or Nelson Mandela or other historical examples, the peace is inside of you. That is the beginning of every peace concept or every peace example in the world. As a part of example for the young generation and young people, of course we have to teach that peace is something that you have to work for by yourself inside of you, and you just have to think about that.
It's normal. You have problems and discussions all the days in your family, in your job, and I think that when you have these kind of conflicts,
Thinking about the consequences, and that is going to be the most important to create a better world.
keep calm and try to talk about the problem or
In every culture and in every country there should be peace, and peace is not belonging to any nation. It's international. People all over the world should feel it. It's about the feeling. Peace also not only about the result or solving the problem or war. It's also about the relations, about yourself, having harmony in your world. In these 10 days I feel something different, and I don't know what will happen when I'll be back, when I will face to reality. I'm also happy that I had the chance to be here, to listen to my heart, and I'm happy. Yeah, it's like paradise inside me. If you are open to all kind of changes, all kind of good changes, positiveness, kindness, it will affect you. A change starts from us, from yourself, and I think it will be better when I will be changed my mind. Life is good with all sorrows. Everybody can make their life their own way, own path. Live in a peace, because I felt the war. I saw the war when I was 4 years old. I experienced this feeling. And believe me, war is not good for your children, for your mother, for your father, for your friends. It's not good. It will not make any person happy. Live in a peace. I know one song in Turkish. It will be in Turkish, yeah. Bütün dünya ona inansa, bir inansa, hayat daha güzel olur. In the song, they're saying that if we will believe in peace and we will live together in peace, there will be celebration, there will be holiday. So I think everybody doesn't depend on religion or race, color, anything. We can be friends, we can make it. We can make a change around the world.
I think it's very important when you meet people from different countries, meaning that they come from different cultures. What it means is actually that you expose your prejudices about some countries. You often think there were some participants that maybe are thought that there is still war ongoing in their countries. And then once you meet these people, you get to ask them questions, precise questions like how is it like to live in your country? And then when they tell you, of course it's safe, then you understand that on an everyday level, people continue to live their lives. What happened is that I really understood the way we can change our perspective. I can change my perspective as well, and how that can influence people around me. Peace as a term is not something that I got to know while I was a child. Only now I would say the peace is coming to Serbia and to the region. Peace is a big word. I use it often, but I don't apply it. Countries use it often, but they do not apply it. So I think it's a huge word that it's often not backed up with deeds. So officially we are all for peace, but I think that of course we do not do enough. Actually, it is a big deal for other person to say I'm sorry, but it's not something that is bad. So saying sorry, approaching someone, being nice, is something that got underestimated in the recent years. Just paying attention to our mistakes more in everyday life, changing them would already be a fantasy. You can tell me jump into the river or jump from the roof. It doesn't mean that I will listen to you. The argumentation. So I think that the quality of the seminar was so good that I actually believe in what I heard. The trainers itself, they also demonstrated that peacefulness, calmness. So I really trusted them that it's not something that they're saying just because it's a seminar, just because it's a project. Of course, weapons will exist. But there are ways, and I really believe, especially after this conference and the methods that we learned, there are ways to increase we can say, the overall amount of peace or non-conflict situations in the world. People need to understand that, yes, it happens, the conflict happens, that's the first step. We need to admit that it happens, and then we need to see how to make it the least harmful for us.
The biggest aspect is that I feel richer, also empowered by this experience that we as a small group of people could come together. Peace starts in our hearts, in our minds. That is essential. Peace starts in our homes, on our street, in our neighborhood, in our workplace, in our community, in our country, in our region, and then it expands. In our society, I think violence has become very normalized. Not only the physical, but psychological, emotional, verbal, and that really can ruin lives, and it does. This ability to see the human, see yourself in the shoes of the other, or in the core of the other human being's heart, it is essential. When we identify with each other as a human being, that is a way for us not to destroy each other. Peace building is a very ambitious idea. And when we're thinking about such projects, it is challenging, but I think it is very fruitful. The more we can identify with the needs of each other, the more we can make choices for choosing behaviors. When we're hurting someone with our words, with our thoughts, with our actions, we're actually hurting ourselves. That is a moment where a powerful change can happen. The closer I come to myself, the closer I come to the world.
I think this training is really beneficial. First of all, it's in a different country. Second, there's a lot of different people from different backgrounds, and I thought that it could be really interesting. I really like the non-formal approach to the project. It's really fun, and I know I have a lot of friends now from different countries that I can go and visit. I think I've become more positive. I've maybe lost a few fears of mine. Just loving life, I guess. My personal understanding of peace is when people can live side by side without hate and just love each other. If you do something, then don't be afraid. And if you're afraid, then don't do it. So I'm just living the dream. Accept each other, love each other, and learn from each other. I really like to think, and I like to hope that one day when I have my children, the world is in a good place and we don't have to be violent about different things, different opinions, different races. In Estonia, everybody knows about the Baltic Way, everybody knows about what was going on. Baltic Way is really, really important in our history, and whenever I go to travel, I always tell people that Estonia and of course Baltic states, we came together and we didn't fight, but we still got our freedom. I think Latvians, Lithuanians and Estonians will be together for the entire eternity, and it's really easy to understand because we've all gone through so much together, and it would be really hard to separate us.
I was personally interested into the topic of peace. Till this point, I wasn't feeling that I'm fulfilling, like I'm doing something good or anything. So after this training, I'm really sure that I will participate to various projects. It's not something which I was expecting, but I think it's something I needed. The first days, I don't know, they are so important to me right now because after a very long time I could relax, let go all the anxiety and experience how it is to feel a little bit better again. On my way here I was a little bit nervous because I was expecting something like in a very academic way. I realized that it's informal, that it's like so well built. So in the end I got much more than I expected. That was the feeling of total relaxation, feeling to be happy in your own skin or something like that. I was interested into the topic more from the academic point of view and not like really doing something, but now I feel like maybe giving a little break from job and contribute in a way which will suit me to peace building. So I'm pretty sure that when I come back I will remember those walks through the forest to the beach, and I mean the nature was really the strong part of this project, and it was so great for me to get out a little bit, to know the different culture. For me it's very hard to get an inner peace you can't get in a prison 10 days, but I got ways and methods and structures how to get closer to it, and I think I needed them, and I'm gonna use them. All the atmosphere was great, and I think I got a lot of knowledge about all the conflicts.